Are you the kind of diver that carries an aluminium cylinder as either a bailout or a stage decompression cylinder? Well, if you are, I'm going to show you ways that you can clip it onto your kit to keep it streamlined and keep it in trim throughout your dive, even when it's almost empty. Hi, I'm Andy the Northern Diver and welcome to another episode in this series of scuba diving tutorials where I'll be showing you how to keep your stage decompression bottle nice and trim and streamlined throughout your dive. If this is your first time here then, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. That way you can see all of our other content really easily. And at the side of that you see this little bell icon. By clicking that, it'll give you a notification every time we post a new video. So what I'm going to sort of introduce you to today isn't developed by me, but I've sort of brought it myself from the roots of being a side mount diver. I now dive a back mounted rebreather, but I still have to carry a bailout cylinder. So in doing so, I want to keep that as streamlined as possible, much like the way it was when I was diving as a side mount diver. The easiest way to configure that then is these pre-drilled holes that are in the back plate that I don't use for anything else. And as long as you've got a hole here or you've got the means to drill one, then what you need to get yourself hold of is about 34 inches of, I think this is about a 9mm bungee. Let's just measure it. Get my tape out. Oh no, it's much thinner. It's about a 6mm bungee. But you know, as thick a bungee as you can manage, you know, because what you want is some strength from it. What you don't want is that it not really doing its job. It's got to sit there and pull up that cylinder. So if you've got like an 11mm bungee and you can fit that in here, by all means do it. So I've got 34 inches of what looks to be 6mm bungee, but thicker would be better. Thinner certainly wouldn't be better. Now I've got a stainless steel carabiner that's got a fixed loop in the bottom. I've got a reasonably sized bolt snap, certainly one that I can get my thumb in, should have some thick gloves. And what I don't want to use is anything small. So that's roughly the same size, but you'll see the loop is tiny, and certainly this one is no good at all. It's too small, and certainly when you've got big gloves on and you're wrestling under your armpit to get to this, the bigger the better for that, and certainly when it's cold, so you've got a loss of dexterity. And certainly X-Deep do a better one now that's been configured for divers. It's much easier, more ergonomical, I think is the word. But as big a bolt snap as you can get your hands on. So I'll start by folding the bungee in half. You can see I've took this apart to work. So I'm going to put my bolt snap through there. And then roughly under my armpit, you'll see there's this hole here. I've just sort of stick my pinky through. Okay, so I'm going to line up that with the two ends. Sorry about all the noise. So I'm going to line up this hole under my armpit with the two ends of the elastic cord. I'm going to push both of them through and then turn everything over. So moving that out of the way, so hopefully you can see this against the back of the sort of back of my t-shirt, is pull that all the way through just to make it easier. I'm going to just tie a figure 8 knot in that. Now if you can't do that, a granny knot, whatever kind of knot, but what you don't want to do is take up too much of that bungee cord. So pull that up nice and tight. You don't want your tails too long. The reason I've done a figure 8 is it's much easier to undo after that's been under tension. So if you don't know how to do that, maybe I'll make a video one day and I'll post it up here. If you can't be asked watching another one of my videos, just get on Google how to tie figure 8. Probably in most of your diving manuals anyway. So that now we'll pull all the way through, and he's long enough to do the job we want. So the problem I'll encounter with this being here is that when I'm getting into my harness and I've got to put my dry suit hose on or whatever, that comes under this arm. So the reason that I've put this sliding bolt snap on here is so I can undo that, get into the harness, and then clip that on. So I'll just get on quick and then show you how I'm going to use it. So if you were to imagine I was in all my diving kit now, as opposed to being in my back bedroom dressed in shorts and t-shirt. Imagine I was actually in my dry suit. I've got all my hoses configured. This is clipped up nice and neat. It's accessible should I need to undo it to get to it. So you just reach around, find it, put it onto your D-ring, and there's your bungee ready to go. So you pick up your side slung or stage cylinder. That gets clipped onto this D-ring here and this D-ring here, so it sits nice and neat. And then you pull this around the neck of the cylinder, which holds it on nice and tight. I'll go and get a cylinder now, show you how to do that. So now I've got my stage cylinder. What I'm going to do is clip that up to my harness on the same D-rings as you would normally. And as you can see, that's sort of sat at a maybe 45-degree angle to me. So by using the bungee, bringing that around the head or neck of the cylinder, that'll bring it in and keep it in trim. So you need to move the regulator out of the way, come around the head of the cylinder or neck of the cylinder, pull that in tight, and now you can see it's going to sit in trim. And as soon as the back end starts to kick up, because it's empty or becomes more buoyant, that cylinder will be pulled in by the bungee cord, and then we can always access, deploy the hose, or hand it off to your buddy. And don't forget, when you clip on, gas on. So hopefully this configuration will be of some use to you. I find it really helpful. It makes me just look and feel so much better in the water. My cylinder isn't clanging around, touching anything, and isn't making any rattling and noise. I can be much more quiet in the water, which ultimately, as an underwater photographer, I would like the marine life to not be frightened of me being in the water and come into me. So me going clanging around all the time won't encourage that. So by having your bungee on and then wrapped around the neck of the cylinder, pull that in nice and tight, keeps you A, streamlined so it's easier in the water, and B, less sort of noise and messing around, so you look neater and tidier and the marine life are more likely to come in. So if it's been of some use to you, please give us a thumbs up, and if you've got any comments, questions or queries, put them in the sort of comments below and I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.
See you on Insta.